Hi there, I'm Tara, and I've come to share a story that's still fresh in my mind from a few months back. I want to shed light on toxic behavior and the importance of standing up against it. At 32 years old, I live with my husband Stephen, who's also 32, and our kitten. Stephen and I have been together since high school, and despite attending colleges in different states, our bond remains strong. We're about to celebrate our 15th anniversary as a couple, but unfortunately, my mother-in-law Lily won't be joining us. Lily has never approved of me. She's always favored her two sons, Stephen and his older brother Sean, showering them with attention since birth. They adored her so much that they failed to recognize her controlling and manipulative nature as they grew older. Lily's stringent rules became suffocating for her teenage sons. They weren't allowed to date, socialize, or even have sleepovers. Sean rebelled against her restrictions, often getting into trouble. Despite his defiance, he stood up for his now-wife Jessie when Lily attempted to intimidate her. As Stephen and Sean distanced themselves from Lily upon turning 18, her focus shifted to me. She went to great lengths to sabotage our relationship, even planning a trip to Hawaii during prom week to keep us apart. Although Stephen pleaded with her to cancel the trip, he rarely challenged her authority. During our college acceptances, Stephen and I briefly separated, during which Lily celebrated and encouraged Stephen to move on. Despite her efforts, Stephen eventually reunited with me, much to Lily's dismay. She resorted to harassing and humiliating me at every opportunity. Lily's behavior serves as a reminder of the importance of recognizing and combating toxicity in relationships. It's crucial to stand up against such behavior to protect oneself and those we care about. I attempted to have a conversation with Stephen about Lily's behavior, but it didn't go as planned. Stephen, your mother's treatment of me is very disrespectful. I've always tried to be friendly and welcoming towards her, but all she does is berate me and call me names. I'm getting tired of her behavior. You need to do something about it, I expressed. Tara, you know my mother's a little sensitive with what happened with Sean. She's afraid to lose me as well. She only means well for me and my future. You shouldn't take her words to heart, Stephen replied. So you're okay with how Lily treats me? Seriously, Steve, you remember she tried to break us up, right? I questioned. She only did that because she thought you would cheat. If you had cheated on me, I would have been heartbroken. She wanted to help me escape a bad heartbreak, Stephen justified. Are you serious? She played on your insecurities to end our relationship. How can you justify that? I retorted. No matter what I said, Stephen never agreed with my perspective. He always thought I was overreacting and that Lily was only looking out for him. He outright refused to believe me when I said that Lily called me to berate me. He always said that Lily could do no such thing and that I was falsely accusing her of being mean. Even Sean tried to talk some sense into him, but after knowing everything, Stephen fought with Sean and accused him of betraying their mom. Things became strained between Sean and Stephen. Sean ended up marrying Jessica, his high school girlfriend whom Lily had tried to scare off. He invited Sean and me to the wedding but refused to even tell Lily about it. Lily was in hysterics and tried to convince Stephen to talk to Sean and get herself invited. Stephen, being the mama's boy he is, argued with Sean about Lily. Stephen almost didn't go to the wedding to support Lily. However, I asked him, do you really want to boycott the wedding to support Lily? Considering what she did to Sean and Jessie in high school, she still complains about Jessie and insists that she took Sean away from her. Why should they invite her to their wedding? Music. He responded, look, you didn't know the whole story. It was a big misunderstanding. She was trying to do what she thought was best for Sean. Moms can get carried away sometimes, but she's ready to mend bridges. We're family, and we shouldn't hold grudges against each other. I countered, it's their wedding, and they can choose who to invite. It's not your place to make those requests. We need to respect their decision. I know I can't do much, which is why I'm not attending the wedding. I want them to know that they are making a mistake. I'm going to RSVP tomorrow, and they will have plenty of time to change their minds. I warned him, Stephen, if you don't go to their wedding, they might cut you out as well. They've already done that to Lily. Are you sure you want to lose your brother over this issue? After a lot of back and forth, he finally agreed to attend the wedding. I was happy, thinking things might start to change. He witnessed how happy Cian and Jesse were without Lily's interference. They moved far away and organized the wedding to prevent Lily from showing up. Lily went ballistic when Stephen showed her the pictures, crying on his shoulders and making him stay with her for a month. Stephen even canceled our Colorado trip to make it up to her. I was heartbroken by how he handled the situation. However, I knew that we loved each other deeply, and breaking up wasn't an option anymore. All I hoped for was that Stephen would see the light and come to his senses about Lily's horrific behavior. Fast forward to 2 years ago, Stephen finally proposed to me, and I said yes. Lily was upset but put on a happy face for him. Later, I discovered that Lily refused to give Stephen her engagement ring because she was convinced I was a gold digger and that our marriage wouldn't last. I must admit, I adore the ring Stephen picked out for me. As engineers, we both earn well, and he was more than capable of buying the ring himself. Plus, I'd much rather wear something he chose than any of Lily's jewelry. Wedding planning turned into a disaster. Lily inserted herself everywhere she could, from cake tasting to venue searching. She detested my ideas and even attempted to change the theme. She called my vintage theme boring and tacky, and though I tried to ignore her, my then fiancé Stephen took her criticisms to heart. Stephen and I meticulously considered every decision we made. I finally had to put my foot down and talk to him about it. This is getting ridiculous. We're the ones getting married. Your mom needs to give us space to decide on our own. I don't need her input on everything. She dislikes everything I choose. You need to tell her to back off, I insisted. Tara, Mom just wants the best for us. She's been to more weddings than us, and I'm sure her input will be valuable to us in the future. You know she couldn't attend Cian's wedding. She just wants to enjoy mine, Stephen reasoned. I'm tired of hearing that excuse. She deserved to be uninvited from Cian's wedding. That was all her fault just because Jesse didn't allow her to interfere. I will not include her in everything. She's welcome to come along, but saying mean things about my choices is unacceptable. This is our wedding, Stephen. She already had hers, I argued. After much coaxing and begging, Stephen finally decided to tell Lily to back off. She threw a fit but toned it down a little. Sadly, Stephen prioritized her choices and changed many things. Initially, I felt pretty sad, but I also knew it was Stephen's day, so I went along in a few places to avoid more trouble. I hadn't yet developed a strong backbone, and Stephen was too engulfed in the fog to think clearly. The wedding turned into another disaster when Lily showed up in a white dress that was so sparkly and lacy, everyone could see it was a bridal gown. Thankfully, Stephen realized the problem with her dress and insisted she change before the ceremony. She tried to play dumb and claimed she didn't have another dress. At that point, my maid of honor and best friend produced a pale blue gown that fit Lily perfectly. Knowing she was planning to wear white, I went shopping and bought her a decent dress out of my own pocket. Lily was out of excuses and had to wear the dress. During the reception, she made tearful speeches about losing her babies to awful women, targeting both me and Jess because they were avoiding her. Lily also disparaged our relationship and tried to portray herself as the poor mother-in-law. The wedding guests looked awkward, and even her family was mortified. My maid of honor promptly took the microphone away and started to lighten the mood. During our honeymoon, Lily called us continuously, crying about feeling lonely. At one point, she was calling us 6 times a day. When she couldn't reach Stephen, she called me, accusing me of keeping him away from her. She insisted that no matter what I did, Stephen would always choose her over me. I reminded her that we were on our honeymoon and that she needed to stop calling us so frequently. When Stephen's phone died, he went back to our room to charge it. There was no reason for me to keep him away from her. I know how greedy you are, Tara. All you want is his money. You cannot accept it. He sends me money every month and brings me gifts. You want to isolate him so that you can take all this money. I won't let that happen. He has been taking care of me since his father died 10 years ago, Lily accused. Lily, I don't care if he looks after you. You are his mother, so it's natural he will send you money. I earn pretty well for both of us, so I don't want his money anyways. You need to stop accusing me of such things. I responded firmly. Shut up, girl. You can fool him, but I know what type of woman you are. Now hand over the phone to my baby immediately. I need to talk to him right now, Lily demanded. This was just one of the many conversations I had with her throughout the honeymoon. We returned home and had to deal with her crying for days because we didn't take her on our honeymoon. Imagine my surprise when she scolded my husband for going without her. Anyway, as usual, Stephen did everything to console his mother and ignore my problems. I was slowly learning to put up with her tantrums and speak out for myself. Everything was going more or less okay until a few months ago when I found out that I was pregnant with our first child. We were both ecstatic, and Steve wanted to tell Lily immediately. I was a little uneasy about it but decided to let it go. I was sure she would be happy for her first grandbaby. Boy, was I wrong. The moment she knew, the waterworks and screaming started. She said I was baby trapping him and taking him away from her. It was all part of my grand scheme. She's sure I cheated on Stephen and was passing off the baby as his. My husband did his best to calm her down, but she refused to listen to him. By this point, I grew increasingly weary of Lily's antics. Her tantrums persisted for 2 weeks before she decided to pay us a visit. She arrived early in the morning and let herself in with a spare key. Lily seemed overly joyous about our baby and even attempted to shower me with gifts. Stephen was elated, believing Lily had finally accepted the baby. However, the reality was far from that. I felt uneasy about her newfound happiness and opted to remain cautious. Later that evening, Lily offered to make us some tea, claiming it would help warm me up since it was getting chilly outside. Stephen was sincerely grateful for her kindness, giving me an "I told you so" look. Deciding to investigate, I excused myself and went to check on Lily in the kitchen. I observed her making tea and adding something from a carton. Both my husband and I are lactose intolerant, so we only use a specific brand of oat milk for our tea. The carton Lily used was not the one we normally use. While she used the oat milk for 1 cup, she poured from the suspicious carton into the other. Initially, I brushed it off, assuming she was simply using another type of vegan milk for variety. However, I remained uneasy when she placed the suspicious mug in front of me. In an impulsive move, I discreetly switched my husband's cup with mine when they weren't looking. We drank our tea, and the entire time, Lily smirked at me from across the couch. Thankfully, nothing happened for the rest of the night. However, in the early hours of dawn, I heard my husband throwing up in the bathroom. He made several trips, and the noise woke me up. After a while, I saw him lying on the couch in the living room, clearly in pain. When I approached him, Lily emerged from her room, looking concerned. Upon seeing Stephen's distress, she began to ugly cry. It was then that I realized she had used cow milk in our tea. I was seething with anger, but first, I had to get Stephen to the hospital. I called 911 and requested an ambulance because Stephen was experiencing intense stomach pain and was on the verge of passing out. At the hospital, we waited for the medication to take effect. When the doctor arrived for a consultation, I took Lily with me and made her confess in front of Stephen and the doctor. She was worried about her son, so making her confess wasn't difficult. The doctor shook his head and informed us that Stephen needed to be hospitalized for a day. After the doctors left, Stephen looked troubled. Suddenly, the fog started to clear in his head, and he was baffled by what Lily had done. He asked her, "Mom, you know I'm allergic to milk. Why did you use it? We don't even keep cow milk in our fridge. Why did you bring it to our house? Even Tara doesn't drink cow milk, and you are well aware of that." Lily responded tearfully, "Stephen, trust me, I didn't want to hurt you. I don't know how this happened. Of course, I know my baby can't have milk. I am your mother." Stephen pressed further, "Then why did you add milk to my tea, Mom? What happened?" Lily continued sobbing in a corner, prompting me to reveal the truth. "I know why Lily brought cow milk into our home. You weren't supposed to drink it. It was meant for me." Stephen was shocked. "You can't drink cow milk either. I'm sure Mom knows that as well. Why would she bring cow milk for you? I don't understand." I explained, "Lily just wanted to hurt me and our baby. I don't know what she wanted to achieve, but she wanted me to suffer. She gave me the cup you drank from." I switched our cups when she wasn't looking because I didn't want to risk the health of our child. Turns out I was right. Stephen was devastated and apologized profusely to me. He vowed to keep Lily away from our lives. I comforted him as best as I could and took him home the next day. I also changed the locks on our house while Stephen was in the hospital. He called Lily and informed her that we were going no contact with her for good, despite her protests and pleas. Stephen firmly stated, "Mom, after what you've done, there's no way I want you around. I always stood up for you and defended you. I was too blind to see how much you were hurting my family. I won't allow this anymore. You have crossed the line. Stephen, please, I didn't mean for this to happen. She was taking all your time, and I was feeling lonely. I thought that the baby would make things worse. I simply wanted to hurt her a little and make her suffer. I'm sorry," Lily pleaded. "There is no point in saying sorry now. You have done something unforgivable. I cannot even imagine what would have happened if Tara had drunk the tea you gave her. I am disgusted with you and don't want to hear your voice again. Leave us alone," Stephen asserted firmly. With that, we slowly started going no contact with her. She showed up at the house and tried to get in with her keys. When she saw that we changed the lock, she started banging on the door. We simply called the cops and let them deal with her. We also blocked her on all our phones and social media. Cian and Jesse contacted our extended family to inform them about the issue. Everyone was downright disgusted and appalled by her behavior. After discussing her actions with me, Stephen, Cian, and Jesse, we decided to put a restraining order on her. With all the evidence caught on our security camera and her confession to the doctor, the order was granted pretty soon. So far, she has stayed away but has tried to fish for information from our extended family. No one has agreed to entertain her demands. We have also cut off our financial support, so she had to take up a job at Walmart to get by. We are slowly rebuilding our relationship with Cian and Jesse. Stephen and Cian had a heart-to-heart conversation and solved their problems. Jess and I were always good friends, so this just made us even happier. Thankfully, my husband has finally come to his senses and protected me from Lily. We are now pretty happy and eagerly waiting for the birth of our child. To be on the safe side, I reminded my husband that I won't allow Lily to ever have a relationship with our child. To my surprise, he agreed to this condition immediately. We've been enjoying the peace in our household after Lily is gone for good. We might just move to Cian City after our child is born. I am not sure what the future will bring, but I am positive we will get through everything together.